Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. It's Hump Day. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Super honored and excited to have the one and only, the famous, the local celebrity lady, Nancy Alvarez, is on the show. She's in a new role. I'm going to let her explain that, and we're going to talk about the United Way, United Women Luncheon, which is April 6th, and Nancy's going to give you the 411 on that. Welcome, Nancy. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm great with that introduction. I should allow you to introduce me everywhere I go. Like when I walk in a room, can you
I
follow me
absolutely would
around?
be happy to do that.
That'd be great.
Uh,
Thank you.
you are a known person in the community, always giving back, and now you have a new role. So let's talk a little bit about your journey and what brought
Yeah.
you to this new role.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me, Ted. First of all, it's so nice to be here with you. Um, it has been quite the journey, right? After 21 years in a newsroom, I've never done anything else, worked those random jobs we all had in college. I had some of those. But
Yes,
after
me too.
that, it was just, I've only ever worked in a newsroom. I decided it was time. I mean, I think we've all heard about the great resignation, the great reinvention, that whole thing. And I think I got, caught up in the moment, and I started to kind of explore what life would be like outside of a newsroom. And I wanted to experience it. I've never known anything but like cold pizza and breaking news and, you know, long election nights or sleeping at my desk and sleeping in an office during hurricanes. And this is the only life I ever knew. And I thought, well, let me just see, what's out there. And here comes Heart of Florida United Way with an opportunity that really just aligned with who I was as a journalist, right? Because my favorite stories were the ones about how we can connect as a community and how we can give
Yes.
back as a community and build a stronger community. And then United Way came along with an opportunity to kind of actually do the work and not just talk about it. And that's what I'm doing. And so if I've only been on the job full time 3.5 months, I'm still here. So I think it's
Well,
going all
we were talking before we went live. Nonprofits. It's just such an interesting world
right.
out there. People are feeling charitable, but of course, you talked about the Great Resignation, and so it's fascinating to me how people are moving into a new arena. You had done a lot of stories on it, so when you got into it, was it the glamorous, amazing world that you thought in the nonprofit, or are we still eating some cold pizza on
No,
occasion?
yeah, there's still a lot of cold pizza in my life. Let me tell you, there's a huge misconception that TV is glamorous, by the way. So, and there are aspects of it that are, but I never really was into that. I'd rather be like in with a rain jacket out in a hurricane any day than in the studio. So, that was just always me and
I
my
love it.
personality and the way I am. But no, it's not glamorous. But let me tell you, these are the people that are keeping our community going, especially through these hard times. In just the few short months that I've been here, I've visited probably more than a dozen of our local nonprofits and met with their leadership and met with the employees that are, in there doing the work every day. And it's just, there's no words. I am so looking forward to telling more of their stories. Because Heart of Florida United Way is sort of the umbrella nonprofit, and we invest in all the other ones in our community. We help promote the work of all the other ones in our community. And I'm here to kind of do that in a bigger way, right? With the storytelling and the promotions of the work. And it is incredible work. And timing is everything, right? And I feel like
Right.
Heart of Florida United Way and all these other nonprofits in our community are just meeting the moment. Because we're talking about what we've been through these last 2 years of the pandemic. Families that were already paycheck to paycheck, who are the families we serve, all of a sudden found themselves furloughed from their jobs, laid off from their jobs, being forced to make decisions about their jobs or childcare because now your kid's home with a computer and has to go, your kid has to go to school from the living room, right? I mean, it was a struggle for everyone, but imagine these families that were already struggling to make ends meet, right? And that were already struggling with the balance of it all. The pandemic hit them in a way that was different and harder than everybody else. And that's who we're here to help with the recovery now, right? As we move forward.
I love the recovery word because I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
We were all trying to maneuver through an unprecedented time. I think nobody knew what the outcome would be. And what is interesting about nonprofits is the need never went away, which I always like to remind people on the
Mhm.
show, just because you all were sitting at home or the needs got bigger in most
Yeah.
cases, like Nancy referenced before. And it was just became such a challenge. And then everything became sort of overburdened. So all of the nonprofits had to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, how are we going to handle this? How are we going to meet an even bigger need with less people at work? So your balancing act certainly has gotten even more delicate, I would imagine.
Yeah. And, you know, and when we at the Heart of Florida United Way thought, okay, how do we meet the moment, right? We're looking at what you're talking about, this almost recovery period. Let's hope, right, that that's what we're heading into and that we don't see another surge, right? That's kind of like knock on wood. But we can't ignore the mental health component of this and how we move forward with the knowledge that a lot of us aren't okay. We're not, and that's okay. You know, a lot of anxiety grew out of this, a lot of tension, a lot of stress in families and in our children. You know, these kids that went through this experience of having to go away for spring break, think about it, thinking that they'd be back to class in a week. This was in 2020, March. Everybody was like, yay, happy spring break. Some of these kids didn't go back to school for like a year.
Insane,
and
right?
School is where many of these kids have their main support system. The biggest meal of the day, the best meal of the day came from school. And just like that, they lost that. So I think that break in their routine and that break in the normalcy of it all is going to have everybody's talking about it. It's going to have a long-term mental health impact. And that leads me into the theme of the luncheon.
Yes, let's talk about the amazing luncheon.
Yeah, the Women United Luncheon. Women United is one of our groups under Heart of Florida United Way. And it's just a group of awesome, amazing women in our community. And I always feel like I have to say, we do invite men. We like men. We welcome men. It's just called Women United, but don't let that deter you if you're a guy, because we welcome you. So don't worry about it, Ted. If you want to come to the luncheon,
I love it. I would have asked that. It was one of my questions, actually.
Yes. No, don't worry. We do. We support men. We welcome them. But, you know, the group is called Women United. And, you know, collectively, we just decided this is the topic. This is it. This is the conversation we're going to have at this luncheon. And we are welcoming Ginger Z to be our keynote speaker. And for many of you who may not be familiar with her, she's on national television every day, right? She is the lead meteorologist for ABC News. And she's beautiful, and she's a mother of two, and her kids are cute, and her husband's cute, and her career is amazing. And she posts on social media about it all the time, and her life looks perfect. Well, guess what? It's not. She struggled a lot with her mental health. So despite what you see on TV and despite what you see on social media, she's very open and very transparent about her struggles that even saw her, you know, going to a facility to receive services for her mental health that she had to check into. So she has a really serious, eye-opening journey that she's going to share, I think, in a very authentic, candid way that is really going to drive home that point that, you know what, everything looks really great on social media, doesn't it? But so many of us are really struggling, and that's okay. And that's going to kind of be the theme of the luncheon and of her keynote address.
Which of course resonates, I believe, with all of us because we've all struggled in some way. I haven't talked to anyone who said this has been the best 2 years of my life. It's definitely been well, you know, I did good in business, but personally it was tough because I couldn't see my family, or my partner lost their job, but my job was okay. There's these struggles that we all went through, universal struggles that we were all doing as a world wide global community. And for someone to share their journey when you're right, it all looks pretty on social media. On the show, one of our themes is always, you know, don't buy into that. A lot of it, if you're judging yourself based on what's on social media, you're probably putting yourself down or thinking you're not good enough or doing enough. And that's just not accurate. So I love the message.
It's more important than ever, you know, to have these conversations as we get back to life, you know, and life changed for so many people in the last 2 years. And so I think it's important that as an organization, Heart of Florida United Way got behind this, you know, this message and then doing the work in the community. We are also launching some real, tangible, hands-on initiatives in our community surrounding mental health. One is a campaign that we're investing a lot of money into, $1 million we just announced, and it's an anti-stigma campaign. You're going to hear it, you're going to see it, it's going to be out in the community, and it's going to be this message that it's okay to talk openly about how you're struggling, why you're struggling, and what you need, and where you're going to implement some train the trainer programs almost into our communities, where we're going to go in to underserved communities in a way that is culturally competent, that is linguistically competent, and is really going to connect with our communities with some mental health tools that we're going to train community leaders with, things like peer support and anger management and stress management. And we have a situation in Central Florida where, just hands bottom line, there aren't enough resources to meet the need.
Agreed.
We just had a mental health study that we conducted that was commissioned by Orange County. And that's really the bottom line of this study, is that the need is so great and the resources aren't there. And then when you start to dig deeper into the resources and you look at the layers of, again, cultural competency, language barriers, it just adds to this need. Well, Heart of Florida United Way, we know we're not going to solve the problem overnight. We're just not. But we're going to create these programs within communities where you can come and get these skills, sort of almost train yourself to become a peer support agent in your community. So we're really excited about launching this. It's coming soon, hopefully summer-ish. So yeah, we're not just doing, we're not just talking, we're doing the work. And that's,
I love it. You've always, United Way, Heart of Florida United Way has always done the work. I think it's always been that umbrella that we all kind of look to, being a conduit, a facilitator, if you will, of the monies that come in and helping these other organizations out. Your reach and your impact is so much greater and deeper. And that's why I want people to get involved. So hfuw.org is the main site. Can people still get tickets to the luncheon? And if so, how do they do that, Nancy?
I'll tell you, they're going fast. They're going fast. So April 6th is the luncheon. Registration and networking starts at 11 a.m. at the Rosen Plaza. And you can get ticket information on our website, hfuw.org. You can also go to Heart of Florida United Way's Facebook, Instagram. There's information there on how to get tickets. But if you see this, I'd go like right now.
We're going to put the link. I'll put the link again in the comments section. I want you all to get involved. You're always asking me how to get involved. Yeah. Audience, friends, family. This is a great way. And because Heart of Florida United Way really does make an impact in a lot of different arenas overall, I guarantee you're going to find your sweet spot, your soft spot on what's important to you. Nancy, please come back anytime. You guys are amazing. Congratulations on the transition. I'm really excited, and I'm excited for people to get to know more about Heart of Florida United.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you guys soon. hfuw.org. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you, Michelle, for setting